Hello and welcome. I'm your host Crazy and you're watching PowetToys. Today we're taking a look at Transformers Generations Optimus Prime. This is the figure based on the Transformers Fall of Cybertron video game. Before I rip the packaging open and show you guys the toy, I just want to point out the packaging. This is great packaging. It's very simple. The character art takes up most of the card art, and the very simple and clean, iconic typography that is the Transformers logo immediately draws your eyes to it. This packaging really stands out on retail shelves, and it's just some of the nicest packaging I've seen in the series, pretty much since Generation 1. In the back is very similar, very simple, very straightforward, but still very aesthetically pleasing. So that being said, let's take a look at the figure. Here is Transformers Generations Optimus Prime, of course based on the Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime. He comes in the package in robot mode, comes with his ion cannon, and of course the obligatory instruction booklet, which we will not use. This Optimus Prime figure is pretty great likeness to himself in the video game. He does have a few problems though. His knees, he actually has kind of a fake knee, and the actual knee is a lot lower, so it's kind of harder, more difficult to pose him. Let's see if I can get a good view here. If you see this right here, it looks like his knee, but that's actually just molded plastic. The knee is in fact the part that attaches to the lower leg right there. And you can see the side view there. So his articulation in the knee is actually much lower than expected, which does give him a slight issue when trying to pose him, but not that much of an issue because frankly he is a fairly articulated figure. Also his feet, if you note, the feet are actually pretty large, which gives him a lot of stability. However, they don't go very far back, and he tends to be a fairly back-heavy character, so it's very easy for him to fall backward. It kind of perpetually looks like he's leaning forward and is just going to fall forward, but that's not the case. You almost out of habit want to just straighten him up, but if you do, there's a very good chance he'll just fall backward. And that's also part of the design, is him leaning forward. So it's not that big of a deal. It's, you know, mostly me just griping. But this is a review I'm doing. So, as I said, he is a fairly articulated figure. To give you an idea, he has a ball joint at the head, ball joint at the shoulders. He has a hinged elbow, a swiveling wrist. He has a ball joint in the torso, which I believe he needs for his transformation, but gives him a pretty good range of motion. There's a ball joint at the hip, and directly below it is a swivel. And then he has this kind of low knee here, as I pointed out earlier, and of course the ball joint in the foot, which again allows for some pretty good stability as long as he's not leaning backward. So he does have a pretty good range of motion, despite my two small gripes. This is a much simpler figure than the War for Cybertron figure, his predecessor, which I will show you right here. This figure still takes me about 20 minutes to transform at any given point, no matter what. because it is a very complicated toy. I will not be transforming him today. We'll be taking a look at him later when we're comparing vehicle modes. But as I said, this is a much simpler figure. And if you had a lot of problems with the old figure, the War for Cybertron figure, you're going to be much happier with this figure. I, on the other hand, am a person that loves puzzles, so I actually like the older figure better. As I said before, he does come with his ion cannon. It has two handles on it. One so it can be mounted in vehicle mode, and the other so he can actually hold it in robot mode, which I will show you like that. And if you do use this handle, it kind of looks like the gun is actually part of his arm, as it is in the game. Pretty cool stuff. So, why don't we get this figure transformed and take a look at the vehicle modes. Here is Optimus Prime in his truck mode. Now I just want to point out I have two front left bumpers. Be on the lookout for that. Not sure how easy it is to check in the packaging, but if you can, check, because it's a little frustrating to open him up, be all excited about him, transform him, and then realize you only have half of a bumper. So watch out for that. He is a fairly small and compact truck. I haven't opened the other Fall of Cybertron figures yet, but compared to the War for Cybertron Optimus Prime, he's significantly smaller. You know, I don't want to say he's half the size, but he's only maybe 3/4. You can take Fall of Cybertron Prime's gun, and you can put that in one of the holes on what was the foot. Doesn't really matter which one, since they're both angled like this. The gun ends up pointing more or less toward the middle. I will say I really like the look of the truck mode. It's a very fierce and sturdy look to the character. Mike Brown, the lead artist, I believe, for Fall of Cybertron, made the comments that he thought when looking at the War for Cybertron truck mode that with the angles and curves, it looked like an animal, like a rhinoceros. But the Fall of Cybertron version was so sturdy and just rugged. He said it looked like a fist with wheels attached, which is quite the statement to make, but it is a very rugged truck. I've mentioned the gun a couple times. It's a very simple gun. It's a single piece of plastic. Not a lot going on with it. It has the two handles, but that's about it. If you compare that to the Fall of Cybertron gun, this gun was kind of a masterpiece. It was a spring-loaded transforming gun. So it could be held like this, and then you could trigger this top piece, oops, in the other direction, and it would become a much longer gun, and looked like one of the guns from the game as well. Not to knock the newer figure, but again, this feels like a step down from the older figure. I don't know if it's a cost reduction thing, or if they're just trying to make a figure that appeals to a wider audience than the original did, since it was a very frustrating figure. But that is the way it is. If I had a choice between the Fall of Cybertron figure or the War of Cybertron figure, I would probably choose the War for Cybertron figure. the older figure. It's more complex, it's larger, it has better accessories, you just get more bang for your buck. And the newer figure is actually more expensive than this one is. However, the newer one is what's out at retail, and it'll take you a while to track down an older one. So, you know, just make sure you check your bumpers and you have both the right and the left, because that will make you a little frustrated, as it has made me. That really sums up how I feel. Thanks for watching. Remember to check out Powet TV for all of your news on gaming, comics, toys, movies, and a whole lot more. And if you have not played Transformers Fall of Cybertron, I highly encourage it. It's a great game. Powet TV has hosted several game nights for it already for multiplayer, and there will be many more, I assure you. Find me on Xbox, my gamer tag is crazyjaco, and I will be playing a lot. I hope to see you on there. Until next time, open your toys, kids.